Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayanam Namaskritya Naram Chaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayam Dheerayet. Nashtaprayeshu Abhadreshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavati Uttam Shloke Bhaktir Bhavati Naistiki. So continuing with the discussion on Srimad Bhagavatam, second canto, first chapter, the first step in God realization. Text number 25 onwards. Andakoshe sharire asmin saptavaran samyute vairaja purusho yaso bhagwan dharana shreyaha. The gigantic universal form of the personality of Godhead within the body of the universal shell, which is covered by sevenfold material elements, is a subject for the Virat conception. So now Shukdev Goswami will talk in detail about this universal form. Simultaneously, the Lord has multifarious other forms, and all of them are identical with the original fountainhead form of the Lord, Shri Krishna. In the Bhagavad Gita, it has been proven that the original, transcendental, and eternal form of the Lord is Shri Krishna, the absolute personality of God. But by his inconceivable, he can expand him and incarnations simultaneously without being diminished in his full potency. So he can expand. He is Krishna, but he can expand and he can take incarnations simultaneously. In Brahma Samhita, it is explained. It's just like if we take one lamp and we light up many other lamps. So every lamp will give the same candle power. It has the same potency. But the original lamp is still the original lamp. So that original lamp is Krishna. Although every lamp, this was Prabhupada writing, without being diminished in his full potency. So every incarnation and every expansion has the same potency, but they display it, they manifest it differently according to the need of the hour. He is complete, and although innumerable complete forms emanate from him, he is still complete without any loss. That is his spiritual or internal potency. In spiritual world, the math is different. In material world, math will be 1 plus 1 is equal to 2 and 1 minus 1 equal to 0. But in spiritual world, 1 plus 1 is equal to 1 and 1 minus 1 is equal to 1. Means Krishna, from him, so many incarnations, expansions, he spreads out. But so many come out and still he's the same one. There's no lack or there's no diminution in his potencies. And when Krishna comes and performs his pastimes in the material world, it is said all the incarnations and all the expansions of Krishna, they merge in his body and they all come together. But when they all merge in it, so 1 plus 1 is still equal to 1. It is still same Krishna. So that is really inconceivable how it works. In the 11th chapter of Bhagavad Gita, the personality of Godhead, Lord Shri Krishna, manifested his Virat Roop just to convince the less intelligent class of men who cannot conceive of the Lord as appearing just like a human being, that he factually has the potency of his claim to the Supreme Absolute Person without any rival or superior. Materialistic men can think, although very imperfectly, of the huge universal space, comprehending an innumerable number of planets as big as the sun. They cannot see only the circular sky overhead without any information that this universe, as well as many other hundreds of thousands of universes, are each covered by sevenfold material coverings of water, fire, air, sky, ego, Numen and material nature, just like a huge football, pumped and covered, floating on the water of the causal ocean, wherein the Lord is lying as Mahavishnu. So if you look at the cover of first canto of Bhagavatam, there we'll see Lord Mahavishnu is lying, and from his body, millions and universes are coming out. And all these universes, as Prabhupada is mentioning, that they're like floating like bubbles in the waters of causal ocean, Karan Sagar. That Karan Sagar is also known as Virja River. So, so these universes, as Prabhupada is mentioning, and the Shlok also is mentioned, sevenfold material coverings are there. So every universe, if like we know the 8 material elements are there. So if we assume the inside of the universe as earth, so the next covering is of earth, water. Then the next covering is of fire. Then the next covering is of air. Then ether. Then mind, intelligence, false ego. So these are the seven coverings, like the shell is made of these 7 layers. And another thing is, each layer, of course, it's not mentioned here, but later on in Bhagavatam it is mentioned, each layer is 10 times thicker than the previous layer. So the earth, if the whole universe, I don't know how many billions of miles is the diameter of this universe. So the covering of water is 10 times the thickness of earth. And the covering of fire is 10 times the thickness of water covering. This is how strong the shell is made up of. So another point is, from this shell, on our own, a soul, although soul is very subtle, but on its own, it cannot get out of the shell. Only by mercy of Krishna, one can get out, because the shell is very tight and very, very wide. I mean, it's huge. If you consider the whole universe, including the shell, it's huge. We can't even comprehend it. And this universe that we are in, it's the smallest universe. Other universes are much, much, much bigger than this one. And how big the shells must be over there. And they're just like bubbles of the ocean. All universes in seed are emanating from the breathing of Mahavishnu, who is but part of the partial expansion of the Lord. And all the universes presided over by the Brahmas vanish when the Mahavishnu withdraws his great breath. In this way, the material worlds are being created and vanished by the supreme will of the Lord. The poor, foolish materialist can just imagine how ignorantly he puts forward an insignificant creature to become his rival incarnation, simply on the allegations of a dying man. The poor, foolish materialist can just imagine how ignorantly he puts forward an insignificant creature to become his means Mahavishnu's rival incarnation, simply on the allegations of dying man. So in material world, especially on earth or in India, so many, he's God and that is God and this God, Mahavishnu, he is also God. Well, he's just an expansion of Krishna. It's not even direct expansion. And this Mahavishnu, what is he doing? He's lying down in the causal ocean, and with his breathing, so many millions and millions of universes come out. And when he inhales, all the universes go back in his body. And some poor person inside this universe, inside and in being a very insignificant jiva on one of the planets, and he claims he's God or he's Mahavishnu himself. That's nonsense, most nonsense thought one can have. The Virat Roop was particularly exhibited by the Lord just to give lessons to such foolish men, so that one can accept a person as incarnation of Godhead only if such a person is able to exhibit such a Virat Rupa as Lord Krishna did. The materialistic person may concentrate his mind upon the Virat or gigantic form of the Lord in his own interest and as recommended by Shukdev Goswami, but he must be on his guard not to be misled by pretenders who claim to be the identical person as Lord Krishna but are not able to act like him or exhibit the Virat Rupa, comprehending the whole of the universe. So the foolish people, for those who are ignorant, for them, the Virat Rupa is shown so they can concentrate their mind on it. But they must be on guard not to be misled by pretenders who say that I am Krishna, this is Krishna, that is Krishna. None of us is going to become God or is God. Not going to happen. Now, beginning with, now he's getting more into more details about this Virat Rupa. Text 26. पाताल में तस्य हि पादमूलं पठन्ति पार्ष्णि प्रपदे रसातलं महातलं विश्वसृजवत् कुल्फौ तलातलं वै पुरुषस्य जङ्घे. Persons who have realized it have studied that the planets known as Patal constitute the bottoms of the feet of the universal Lord, and the heels and the toes are Rasatal planets. The ankles are Mahatal, and his shanks constitute the Thalatal planets. So there's a particular sequence of this 14 planetary system in the universe. So Earth planet, below Earth is Earth planet when we say, and there is a Bhumandal, earthly planetary system. And below Earth are 7 planetary systems, and above Earth are 6 planetary systems. So that makes total 14. So the bottommost is Patal. So below Earth are Talatal, Mahatal, Rasatal, Patal. These are the 4 lower, and there are 3 more. We'll read about them. So one is Patal, above them are Rasatal, and above them Talatal. And all the planets below Earth, the sunlight does not go there. Sunlight only comes up to earthly planet. And above Talatal, or there's a planet called Sutal. Sutal is where, although it is below Earth, Sutal is where Bali Maharaj is residing. Vaman Dev is his doorkeeper. That is a Sutal planet. So just below Earth, there's a few planetary systems which are called, their opulence is as good as heaven, but they are below Earth. They are not considered heavenly planets, but the opulence is as good as heavenly planets. Because the demons, they're living there, they like to keep their planets very nice. Of course, this Talatal, Mahatal, Rasatal, Patal, they are very bad planets. Outside the bodily existence of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, the manifested cosmic existence has no reality. Everything and anything of the manifested world rests on him, as confirmed in the Bhagavad Gita, but that does not imply that Everything and anything in the vision of a materialist is the Supreme Personality. So the idea behind this universal form is, so Patal constitute the bottom of the feet of the universal Lord. But that doesn't mean the universal form is like a Krishna or universal Lord standing, and the bottom of the feet are Patal planets, and the heels and the toes are the Rasatal and the ankle. It's a imaginary form. It's for people who are neophytes, who are not that, who don't have that kind of intelligence or that kind of faith, for them to understand. When we talk about Patal planets, that means then he can imagine, he can visualize. Okay, Patal planet means the bottom of the feet of the universal form, and then Rasatal means the heels and the toes. You can just imagine, just visualize like that. And the Mahatal planets are the ankles. And the Shanks constitute the Talatal planets. Because they, first of all, they are in the lower category. The conception of the universal form of the Lord gives a chance to the materialist to think of the Supreme Lord. But the materialist must know for certain that his visualization of the world in a spirit of lording it over is not God realization. The materialistic view of exploitation of the material resources is occasioned by the illusion of the external energy of the Lord. And as such, if anyone wants to realize the supreme truth by conceiving of the universal form of the Lord, he must cultivate the service attitude. So the idea is, another idea behind this universal form, which in a way is correct, is nothing is beyond the Supreme Lord. Everything is resting upon him, everything is his energy, and everything actually should be utilized in his service. There's nothing that is beyond Krishna or Krishna's. In the material world, we can say there's nothing beyond the universal form of Krishna. Unless the service attitude is revived, the conception of Virat realization will have very little effect on the seer. The transcendental Lord, in any conception of his form, is never a part of the material creation. He keeps his identity as a supreme spirit in all circumstances and is never affected by the three material qualities. For everything material is contaminated. The Lord always exists by his internal energy. So this material form, this universal form is material. So Krishna has nothing to do with the material qualities. He's never a part of, his form is never a part of material creation. But so this is an imaginary form actually. But still, even by this imaginary form, one can still make progress to the spiritual world. Okay, now Prabhupada is talking about all the planetary system. The universe is divided into 14 planetary systems. 7 planetary systems called Bhur, Bhuvar, Swar, Mahar, Janas, Tapas, Satya are upward planetary systems, one above the other. So Bhur is the earthly planetary system, and above it are 6. Bhuvar, Swar, Mahar, Janas, Tapas, and Satya Loka. And there are also 7 planetary systems downwards: Atal, Vital, Sutal, Talatal, Mahatal, Rasatal, and Patal. Gradually, one below the other. In this verse, the description begins from the bottom because it's a line of devotion that the Lord's body description should begin from his feet. So Shukdev Goswami did mention that. Remember, that one should take darshan of the Lord starting from his lotus feet. So that's why the description he started giving from Patal planet. Shukdev Goswami is a recognized devotee of the Lord, and he's exactly correct in his description. Text 27. Dvejanuni sutalam vishwamurter arudbayam vitalam chatalam cha mahitalam tajjaganam mahipate nabhastalam nabhi saro grinanti. The knees of the universal form of the planetary systems of the name Sutal, and the two thighs are Vital and Atal. The hips are Mahital, and outer space is a depression of his navel. So idea is when we look at the outer space, at least because we cannot look at this lower planetary systems, but outer space, when we look, we should remember or visualize, oh, this is the navel of my Supreme Lord. Urasthalam jyotir anikamasya griva maharvadanam vajanvasya tapuraratim viduradi punsaha satyam tu shirshani sahasra shirshanaha. The chest of the original personality of this gigantic form is a luminary planetary system. His neck is a Mahar planet, his mouth is a Janus planet, and his forehead is the Tapas planetary system. The topmost planetary system, known as Satyaloka, is the head of he who has 1,000 heads. So now Shukdev Goswami is talking about the higher planetary system. The effulgent luminary planets like the sun and the moon are situated almost in the mid-place of the universe. And as such, they are to be known as the chest of the original gigantic form of the Lord. And above the luminary planets, called also the heavenly places of the universal directorate demigods, are the Mahar, Janus, and Tapas planetary systems. And above all, the Satyaloka planetary system, where the chief director of the modes of material nature resides, namely Vishnu, Brahma, and Shiva. This Vishnu is known as Kshirodaksha Vishnu, and he acts as a super soul in every living being. There are innumerable universes floating on the causal ocean, and in each of them, the representation of the Virat form of the Lord is there, along with innumerable suns, moons, heavenly demigods, Brahmas, Vishnus, and Shivas, all of them situated in one part of the inconceivable potency of Lord Krishna, as stated in Bhagavad Gita. So there are innumerable universes. If we just look at one universe and how the universal form is described, and there are innumerable such universes just floating in the causal ocean. And in each of these universes, there are innumerable planets. So, considering the suns, innumerable suns, moons, heavenly demigods, how many Brahmas, Vishnu, Shivas, so much of whole system is there. And what Krishna says, all this is what? Yadyad vibhuti mat sattvam shrimad urjitam tattat evapestvam mam tejo ansha sambhavam. He tells Arjuna that whatever you see in this material world is what? Mam tejo ansh. They're just the spark of my splendor. This is just a little spark of his whole energy, whole creation, whole opulence, whole splendor. This whole, all the material universes. And in all the material universes, if we are in one universe, and not even in one universe, we are on just one tiny planet Earth. Earth is compared to other bigger planets above Earth. Earth is very, very insignificant actually. And Earth is just one planet in this planetary system of Bhumandal. And on Earth, we are sitting and we have, of course, we have some assets, but how much assets we have? Nothing. Compared to say people in Delhi, how much assets we have? Nothing. Then compared to people of India, compared to people of the world, nothing. And when we have these little bitty few assets, some properties, and we think I'm very important. I'm like the controller of everything in this and that. Actually, our position is nothing. That's all it is. It is nothing. It's only by mercy of Krishna that he has given us something, but more than him giving us something, we have such a big ego, which makes us feel that I'm the center of the universe. Actually, I'm the controller, I'm the enjoyer, I'm the proprietor. We are nobody actually, nothing. Whether it's a president of United States, whether it's a richest person on planet Earth, nothing. This is our position. So looking at Virat Roop, actually this feeling should also come to our mind. And second thing that should come to our mind is everything belongs to Krishna. And everything should be utilized in his service only. Anyway, we'll stop here. See anybody has any questions or comments.
Thank you, Prabhuji, for this wonderful class.
Hare
Really,
Krishna.
very, you're just hitting the point very hard, and we have to understand that, take it as, ingrain it in our system, that we are very insignificant.
Yeah, we'll read more about universal form, then we'll really find out who we are, where we are.
Thank you, Prabhuji. Very, very nice
Thank you.
class it was. It's always, every time the classes are really insightful. But thank you so much. The other day when Vinay Prabhu said that, for us, you are taking this class and it's already late at your end. So thank you so
It's
much
not
for your
late.
mercy.
Thank
And,
you.
and
In this way, I also get a chance to read Bhagavatam.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji.
Yes, Vinay Prabhu, you were saying something? Hare
Pramod,
Krishna Prabhu.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji. Yeah, I was just what Shashwati Mata just said. Just adding one more. Today I was. I mean, this was just going on. We have, I think, if I'm not wrong, 18 cantos we have. Like
No, 12 cantos, 18 books.
18 books, 12 cantos, and I
Yeah.
think the first canto we just finished. I think 15 days back, and when we have started that first canto, it was, I think, it's more or less 8 or 9 months. So I was just thinking every day, hearing from you, just keep on hearing. I'm so habituated, and I think the most valuable thing in a day is this half an hour, what we hear. And at the very last, I can least think of, not hearing it sometime. I mean, not to say this, but just keep hearing it till the 12 cantos are over from you.
Well, I I pray that I can serve everybody like that. I
And
hope so.
but Vinay Prabhu, I think we need to distribute this nectar further. With the way we are relishing, I think people should relish it.
yes, absolutely.
Yes, Prabhuji, rightly said, Prabhuji. Agree to your thoughts.
And Prabhuji, I have a question, though not related to today's class, but something in fact that I was thinking yesterday. Is it time that I ask, or do you want me to post it to you, Prabhuji?
No, it's okay. You can ask. We still have time.
प्रभु जी जिस तरह होता ना कि माता पिता के ऋण और व्हाट आई मीन फॉर द वांट ऑफ दैट बेटर वर्ड डेट या माता पिता के ऋण होता है गुरु जी के ऋण होते हैं तो जो इनको नहीं चुका पाता है मतलब व्हाट आर द वेज टू पे इट ऑफ एंड जो नहीं चुका पाता उनका क्या हाल होता है प्रभु जी
Like Mata Pita ka rin, we pay it off by having more progeny. Rin of Guru, from whom we got the knowledge, so we have to distribute the knowledge. And rin of demigods, we have to do yajna, so pay back to them because all this they're supplying everything in the nature, so we have to do the yajna and thank them and pay it back. So one who doesn't, there are two people, one who doesn't and one who can't pay off the ring. So obviously it is considered sinful. So one has to suffer for that. But at the same time, like Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita, na, Sarva dharman parityaja mam ekam sharanam vraja aham tvam sarva papebhyo. So it is sinful not to pay off this debt, but Krishna says, if you surrender unto me, I take care of all these sins. Don't worry. Just surrender. But that surrender has to be complete surrender. Um, so even if somebody becomes if somebody becomes a devotee, obviously he doesn't have to pay for these debts. But as a matter of setting an example in the society, he still does. Why not? Because uh, respecting parents, serving the parents, there's nothing wrong with that. Even if somebody becomes a devotee, he should respect, he should serve, and he should set a good example in the society. He should serve the demigods, he should serve the guru, he should serve the sadhus, and so many other debts are there. So he should try. There's nothing wrong. It's good to set an example in the society. Is that okay?
यस प्रभु जी, थैंक यू सो मच फॉर एक्सप्लेनिंग दैट. एक छोटा सा उसमें क्वेरी प्रभु जी, जिस तरह माता पिता का ऋण होता है उसी तरह हमारे क्या भाई बहन के हैं बच्चों के प्रति भी कुछ ऋण होता है क्या?
As a not scripturally, but as a matter of etiquettes, yes, we are supposed to serve them, take care of them. Kids towards kids, yes, it is our duty to raise them up properly, to settle them nicely in the life. And as a devotee, we have to make them devotees. And brothers, sisters also, because they are related. So somehow Krishna has put us in that family where we have those brothers and sisters or other relatives. So we do have a responsibility towards them. The main responsibility as a devotee is to make them devotees. But in any way, if we are related, we should be ready to help them to whatever extent we can.
Thank you so much, Prabhuji, for explaining it so nicely.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna.
This is just a comment because this is to revise what I read every day. So I'm on chapter 3 right now. Or this is what exactly you stated today, that Lord Krishna says that it's all mine, everything is mine. And it's something like, with an example, what I read uh, from Ram Sukdas ji's book, that something like in a house, when the key is lost, and if dad is looking, or the father is looking for the key, and if the kid brings it and give it to the father, he becomes so rejoiceful. I mean, he's so happy that my kid he's grown up so much. He is bringing that, he found it, and is giving that key to me. So it's something related to God also. It's all his only, and whatever we are getting from his mercy only. And when we are giving it to him, he'll be nothing like it. I mean, his happiness is on the top. And I mean, this is what the comment is. If you want to put
No,
it,
that's very, very nice. Thank you, Prabhu.
yeah.
Thank you. So I guess we can stop here. You all have a wonderful day. Hare Krishna. Jai Srila
Thank you.
Prabhupada.
Hare Krishna.
Prabhuji.